Gervonta Davis is a great boxer, but is he a great champion? Based on how often he fights and who he fights, some might say no. And that's a shame, because when he does fight, Tank Davis is the most exciting boxer in the sport. Now that he's 30, the age most agree is an athlete's prime, the fans want to see him take on the best. But looking at his resume, he'd rather take money fights than good fights. And that's fine, but if you call yourself the best boxer in the world, you have to prove it to the fans. For reference, when Muhammad Ali was 30, he fought a whopping 6 times. If Tank's record is any indication, he'll fight once, maybe twice if we're lucky, against someone who poses no threat. And after hinting at retirement, even his own supporters are disappointed. Gervonta Davis doesn't owe the fans anything, but can you really be the face of boxing if no one sees you box? Today's video is sponsored by Raycon. If you're like me, the new year means a return to running, training, and of course, watching lots of boxing. All of which are made way better with Raycon's everyday earbuds. These are the perfect gym buddy, offering premium audio wherever your training takes you. Raycon everyday earbuds also come with active noise cancellation for a pristine listening experience. They're sweat resistant for big training days, and with their new quick charge function, just 10 minutes of charging gets you 90 minutes of battery. These are easily the most versatile earbuds I've ever used, perfect for the gym or making YouTube videos. The protective case cover has wireless charging and it just looks great. I'm rocking the carbon black earbuds with the yellow sunset case, but they've got plenty of vibrant colors and designs to make it your own. If you want comfortable, high-fidelity earbuds at half the price of other premium audio brands, help support the channel at buyraycon.com/Murdoch to get 15% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get 15% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/Murdoch. In 2007, Floyd Mayweather did something unusual. He beat Oscar De La Hoya to become the new face of boxing and brutally knocked out Britain's Ricky Hatton. And then he retired. At just 30 years of age, he felt he had nothing left to achieve in the sport, and he might have been right. Undefeated, 5-division world champion, and the biggest pay-per-view star since Mike Tyson. Of course, he would come back and fight for another decade, but his first stint was a Hall of Fame career in its own right. Can Gervonta Davis say the same? At 30, Davis is undefeated, a 2-division world champion, and easily the most entertaining knockout artist in all of boxing. But he only fights 1 to 2 times a year, usually against a smaller fighter moving up in weight or a bigger fighter who's not allowed to rehydrate in weight. To be considered a great champion, I think it's fair to ask for one of 2 criteria: fight often or fight the best. Throughout boxing history, the greats have pursued both. As Roberto Duran entered his prime, he was 74-2, arguably the greatest lightweight of all time, and had beaten every single man he faced. With signature wins over Buchanan, DeJesus, and Sugar Ray Leonard, it's safe to say he earned his pound-for-pound status. By 30, Sugar Ray Robinson had captured simultaneous welterweight and middleweight titles, avenged every loss in his career, and sustained a 91-fight undefeated streak. Marquee victories over LaMotta, Gavilan, Turpin, Graziano, and Armstrong truly cemented his greatness. And with an average of 9 fights per year, it's safe to say he fought more than enough. To be fair, that was 70 years ago when fighting regularly was the norm. For a modern perspective, we need to look no further than the Japanese monster Naoya Inoue. Since winning his first belt at 20 years old, the next decade saw him become a 4-weight world champion, double undisputed champion, and a global superstar, fighting against the best of his generation. 2.1 fights a year is a far cry from the frequency of the 50s, but let's take a look at who he's fought. Narvaez, Rodriguez, Donaire, Fulton, Tapales, and Neri round out a very strong resume. In the modern era, fighting twice a year is reasonable, given strong opposition. Then you have the stuff of legends. Muhammad Ali fought 6 times at age 30. fought 4 times the following year, and dipped down to a measly 2 fights in '74. But they were against Joe Frazier and George Foreman back to back. If you want to be great, fight often or fight the best. By averaging less than 2 fights a year, Gervonta Davis is unfortunately a rare sight in the sport. But when he does show up, it's the greatest act in boxing. The skill, speed, IQ, and power are all world class. Every fight ends up on a highlight reel. It's just missing one thing: a worthy opponent. Davis should be a household name. His style should be on every television set in America, but without even competition, the novelty wears off. He can only knock out so many featherweights before the audience asks for more, and it begs the question, who exactly is Tank's best win? Well, if we judge by post-Davis success, Mario Barrios makes a strong case. Since losing to Tank, he's gone on to become the WBC welterweight champion, and at 6 feet tall, he presented a lot of problems for Gervonta, until he got figured out. But the most dangerous fighter on Tank's resume has to be Ryan Garcia. This might be controversial because of his antics since the fight, but we've seen what Ryan can do to very good boxers. He may be a one-trick pony, but that left hook is one hell of a trick. Davis even admitted he was nervous about Garcia's power.
I was nervous.
You're gonna feel right away. Huh? You're gonna feel right away.
It's just me seeing him knock out so many people. You know, it's like seeing him knock out people in the gym, seeing him knock out people on the clips. I'm like, what the hell?
And Garcia putting the pressure on Davis.
But he's not patient. He wasn't patient.
The numbers don't lie. Against an opponent who could actually hurt him, Davis sold 6 times his usual pay-per-view buys. It's the only time he sold over $1 million, and he was rewarded handsomely. If it's not painfully obvious, the people would rather see good competition over a lopsided beatdown. Against a big puncher like Ryan, we saw Tank's most suspenseful fight, and measured how truly great he is. But as many Davis detractors have noted, both Barrios and Garcia had rehydration clauses. By being contractually barred from regaining full weight, they were naturally disadvantaged. Davis fought neither man at their full strength. Under scrutiny, it's clear that Tank's flawless record is carefully crafted and hand-selected. If he retired today, no one could fault him, but he wouldn't go down as an all-time great either. Gervonta Davis is clearly skilled. He passes the eye test with flying colors. But unlike Ali, Duran, or any of the greats of the past, he lacks meaningful opposition. So what can he do to beat the prospect allegations? Fight great fighters in their prime at their natural weight. For one, he could unify his lightweight championship against Shakur Stevenson, or he could challenge himself against Teofimo Lopez at 140. And if he really, truly wanted to be a pound-for-pound great like Mayweather or Pacquiao, there's plenty of hungry champions in the welterweight division. There's no shortage of great matchups to make for Tank. He's one of my favorite fighters, and he should be yours too. But unless he wants to prove his skill, the fans will always be left asking, how great is Gervonta Davis really? I hope we get to find out.